Hey there, everyone. How you doing? Lee Stranahan. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a nice weekend. By the way, I'm just going to get this out of the way quick. Aside from the fact that I'm going to ask you to join as a Patreon member for $10 now because I got a special offer. If you want to check out some of the fiction projects based on my journalism that I've been working on, scripts, and I've shown you some of the artwork up on Twitter and stuff like that. But if you want to be part of that, just become a $10 a month subscriber right now in the next 2 weeks, and you'll be getting scripts and all kinds of material about this stuff. But I want to talk to you about stuff that's unfortunately not fiction, and it's the very dangerous position we find ourselves in. And this is one of the reasons I've been trying to warn people and getting so upset. People like Dan Bongino are going to get people killed. I'm going to say that again. I want to be really clear on this. Jack Posobiec, you're a murderer. Dan Bongino, you're a murderer. You're going to get people killed because you're distracting people from the real truth about what's been going on in Russiagate. It was not about Trump. And I've been telling everybody that for years. Russiagate predates Trump. And why am I the only human being in the frickin' world who's been talking about Senate Resolution 322? I'm not making it up. Anybody, let's go over to the computer and look this up ourselves, shall we? I'll show you how to do it, and I'll talk about this very scary report in a second. All you do is type in any search engine, Senate Res, you don't even need to type the whole thing in, 322, 2005. I mistyped one word. Forgive me, I've got very bad eyesight. Here we go. Why am I the only reporter in the entire history of the frickin' world who talks about this? Senate Resolution 322 is a resolution from 2005 expressing support for Mikhail Khodorkovsky. Mikhail Khodorkovsky is a Russian oligarch. At one point during the Soviet Union, right after the fall of the Soviet Union, he was the richest person in Russia. And this has one sponsor, Joe Biden, President of the United States. And I've been talking about this when it was a distant dream that Joe Biden would ever be the nominee, when it didn't look like he would be the nominee. Remember, until South Carolina, he was getting trounced in the primaries. But I've been talking about this for years. Anybody who's been following my reporting, let me explain why. This shows the President of the United States backing a Russian oligarch that everybody else is completely silent on. And Mikhail Khodorkovsky, if you read this and you understand why I've been talking about Bill Browder and why I've been talking about the Magnitsky Act, which is 2012, this is Russiagate. Russiagate did not start when Donald Trump came down the escalator at Trump Tower. Russiagate's been going, the Russian hoax, let me call it that, the Russian hoax has been going on for a while. And the reason I'm saying Bongino is a murderer and Posobiec is going to get people killed, these people distracting from the truth, taking the truth and distracting from it, calling it Spygate, as though this is a plot to take out Trump. But Bongino would suck Bill Browder's cock if Bill Browder whipped it out in front of him. Bill Browder owns Dan Bongino. And Dan, I'll say it to your face, step up, you liar. Step up, you liar. Bill Browder was fellated in the pages of the Dan Bongino books. He could not have gotten more satisfaction. Not only does Bongino repeat Bill Browder's lies, but he actually embellishes them a little bit. That's why I say, this is a guy, come on, Dan, come on. Yeah, that's right. Just point out that I work for Russia again. I'm proud I work for Russia and tell the truth, because I'd rather be doing that than have the millions you have, Dan, and lying to people in a way that's going to get people killed. You're going to get people killed. We're at the verge of, we're right at the edge of war right now. We're on the verge of war right now. And over Ukraine, which people like Matt Couch was mocking me for. Remember that a few years ago? All these people, you may be proud of the little following you got. You may be proud of the number of followers you got. I don't care. I tell the truth because I've seen this coming for years, and I have never strayed from the path of telling you guys the truth. Now we've got this report. Let me talk about this. This is a report that came out yesterday from the State Department, the Global Engagement Center, talking about Kremlin-funded media, including RT and Sputnik, and the role in Russia's disinformation. This is a lie. And I'm going to come to our friend, get ready, hold your lunch, George Soros here. Let's talk about him for a second, shall we? I want to point out a lie that's been going on, and you can figure it out really easily. So let me go back to this interview on CNN. I want you to understand, you may think you know CNN lies to you. You may not trust Soros, but you don't understand. I guarantee you almost none of you understand it that well, right? So what's going on here? In 2014, this is in Maidan, by the way, which Glenn Beck, you're also a murderer. And you got a little bit of Bill Browder on your chin. Check it out, Glenn. It's right in your Colonel Sanders mustache. A little bit of Browder-gism is dripping down your Kentucky Fried Chicken face, Glenn Beck. Because seriously, go, if you don't believe me, and there's no disturbing man-on-man sex imagery in it, but there might as well be. Go watch Glenn Beck's interview with Bill Browder. Go look it up on YouTube. And I'll tell you, if you want some hot man-on-man action, that video's got it. Everyone stays dressed. But literally, Glenn Beck says he would give up support for Trump to protect Bill Browder. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself what he's up to. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up. Go look it up. I say this because I'm a little crude sometimes, but I'm upset about this stuff. Now, what you got going on here is during the Maidan, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, Glenn Beck was ripping off my work, but leaving out the most important part, which is the run-up to Russiagate, including the Euromaidan in 2013 and 2014. 2014, the U.S. sponsored a coup of a democratically elected government in Ukraine. And that really put Russia on notice how far the U.S. was prepared to go. And nobody cares about it. Nobody cares about it. I care about it. I've been talking about it nonstop. But I want you to look at the date of this CNN report that you can find yourself. This is May 2014, right in the middle of the Maidan, right afterwards. And this is an interview that Fareed Zakaria from Fareed Zakaria 360 did with Soros. And I want you to see it for yourself. I talked about this a little bit on my radio show today, but watch. And this is very easy to show. Okay. So he's talking about anti-Semitism in Ukraine. And he's talking about, and because this is where the neo-Nazis and the OG Nazis were. And Zakaria is talking about Vladimir Putin. And he says he accuses the Ukrainians of being anti-Semitic. And I want you to read what Soros says here. Well, anti-Semitism is in the DNA. But he says it's in the East where Russia has an influence. He's saying the anti-Semitic part of Ukraine, you see right here, the East. And he says this is atrocities against Jews and Gypsies. Now, anybody can look this up. This is a complete lie. And just look up Galatia, I can never pronounce it right. Galicia, however you pronounce it. Galatia, Ukraine, Nazi. And what you'll find is the 14th Waffen SS division of the SS was the Ukrainian division over there. And where was this? Where's the District of Galatia? Is it in the East, as George Soros said in 2014? Well, here it is. This is the region down here. This is Ukraine. This is the West. This is the West and the South. And they even say, right in here, if you read it, that this is the region in Western Ukraine. Anybody who knows anything about history, anything, look it up. Don't take my word for it. The Nazis were in Western Ukraine, not Eastern Ukraine with Russia. Because don't forget, Russia was fighting the Nazis in World War II. Russia, Barbarossa, go look that up. Russia was not pro-Nazi, and the Nazis were not pro-Russian. Why is CNN lying about history and letting Soros tell a complete, the polar opposite of the truth? Because this is the history that's being buried. And it's being buried in the stinking report that your government put out. I'm skipping through this report here, but you can download it. I've put it up on Twitter. Is anyone going to come and tell the truth? See, the great thing about working on Sputnik is I'm allowed to tell the truth. But it's not true because it's on Sputnik. It's true because it's true. Here's them talking about Sputnik and RT and COVID-19. But you'll see, let me get to it here. They talk about the annexation of Crimea, which was done to protect it because people were on their way down to kill the people in Crimea. And they want to lie about this. You'll see. Hang on, almost here. False narrative, the U.S. government, NATO support for Ukraine. False narrative, Ukraine has a serious Nazi fascist problem. The U.S. government is saying this is a false narrative in big letters here in this boring font. And you'll see they're talking about 2014. And they're basically repeating the lies that Soros was repeating and that CNN was repeating. And this came out a day before Lavrov's meeting with Tony Blinken. This is a false narrative, they're saying. No, this is a false narrative. False narrative 3. Ukrainian armed forces intentionally target children. Well, they don't. The war in Donbass has affected a lot of children. There's no question about that. So I want you to look up what the government's now pushing. And by the way, do you know who's going along with it? Ted Cruz, murderer. Ted Cruz, murderer with a mullet. Mullet murderer. You're going to get people killed, Ted. All these people, and when I say this, I say it knowing again, nobody, Bongino's a coward. He's a coward, and he's been a coward for years. Beck is a coward. These are cowards they don't have to answer because they've got larger audiences. But they have larger audiences that they don't deserve. These guys are going to get a lot of people killed. Not one or two, a lot of people. And they're supporting Soros. I'll say it again. When you support the Soros narrative, you're supporting Soros, right? And Browder is in that same group of people. This is really offensive to me. Now, I've been telling the truth for a while, and I'm telling you that every week on my show on Patreon that I do with Jason Goodman, we dig into some of the history here. And if you want to really understand the history, please join us on Patreon. And again, any $10 a month subscriber, I'm not going to talk about the truth and fiction thing. It's right up there, patreon.com/Stranahan. Go check it out. I put up a link earlier. But I really am bothered by this. Did I offend you? I hope so. I hope I get some of you offended enough where you'll wonder why Bongino and Beck and people like that are such cowards, that they won't respond. They can't respond factually. They cannot point out the truth. Why are they defending a guy like Mikhail Khodorkovsky? Why are they defending Joe Biden and the Clintons? Why are they defending Barack Obama and John McCain, who are the sole co-sponsors of this? Ask yourself that. Anyway, I'm not going to give myself a heart attack on this. Not tonight, anyway. Love you guys. Hope you were entertained. Don't take my word for anything, though. Educate yourself. Look into this. Yes, I'm mad. And do me a favor. Join us on Patreon and become part of telling the truth that could save lives. And I'm not joking. Till next time, I'm Lee Stranahan. Bye.